Namaste. For our yin practice together today, I invite you to have any props that you think will add to your level of comfort here on the mat. But I highly recommend having 2 blocks for today's practice. If you don't have blocks, you could use big sturdy books instead. But the blocks are optional. You don't need them for today's practice, but they are nice to have. We're going to begin lying on our backs in Supta Baddha Konasana. And we can actually utilize the blocks right away. So lie down and bring the soles of your feet together to touch. Bend your knees and then allow the knees to fall away from each other to the sides. And then you can prop them up with your blocks on their second level if you'd like, just to allow the hips to relax a little bit and not have to work so hard to stabilize. Rest your hands on your belly and then close your eyes. And right away, start to use your hands as feedback for your breath. Feel the breath start to slow down and get deeper, sending your inhales all the way to your belly, allowing the palms of the hands to rise with the belly in the inhale, and then feeling the belly and the hands gently descend down to the earth as you exhale. And continue breathing like this for a few rounds. Using this time to connect to body and breath, to transition from whatever we were just doing into right here, right now. Take one more breath. Once you feel connected to your breath, you can relax your arms by your side, or you can cactus your elbows, bending at the elbows and resting the forearms on the ground, opening up across the chest and the collarbones. So when practicing yin yoga, I think it's helpful to remind ourselves of the qualities that differentiate yin from other yoga practices. First and foremost, we move slowly. We find softness within our body and the shapes that we create. And we dive deep into the world of stillness. I think the most challenging part of practicing yin is attempting to stay with whatever arises in the stillness, whether it's physical sensation or mental or emotional fluctuations. How much can you be with or be in whatever arises without pushing back or resisting? So we utilize the breath to help find that softness, that acceptance, that surrender into what is right now. And as we still the body, we work to slow down the patterns of our thoughts. Working to create space not only within our body, but also within the mind, one breath at a time. Continue to feel the breath expand here in Supta Baddha Konasana, gently lengthening your inner thighs and your groin muscles, allowing the outer knees to remain heavy and grounded towards the earth. Let's take 5 more slow and deliberate breaths here. Every breath is an opportunity to create more space. And from here, let's bring our hands to our outer thighs just to help lift our knees towards center off of the props if we were using them. And then if you were using your blocks, just move them out of the way towards the front of your mat for now. And then separate your feet a little bit wider than your hips, keeping the knees bent. And then allow the knees to drop towards the left, coming into a little bit of a gentle supine twist here. And one option here is to cross your left foot or your left ankle over the outside of your right knee, giving a little bit more weight so that that inner right knee can come down towards the ground, getting a stretch through the right hip flexors, the quadriceps, and a bit into the TFL there as well. See if you can keep your right shoulder nice and heavy here. And always an invitation as we explore stillness in these poses to close the eyes. See if you can direct the movement of your breath to those muscles that encase and surround your spine, so that there is articulation and movement of the back body around the spine with every inhale and exhale. Checking in with the muscles of the face, seeing if you can soften the muscles that hinge and unhinge the jaw, allowing the tongue to rest heavily on the base of your mouth. And taking a few more breaths here to create space wherever the body or the mind might need space right now. Make it about the breath. Last 2 breaths here. Uncross the left foot off of the knee, and then bring your knees back through center nice and slowly. And begin to transition to the other side, dropping the knees the opposite way, and then maybe crossing that right foot and ankle over the outer left knee, giving a little bit of weight and traction there to find some stretch and length through the left thigh and into the hip flexors. And then see if you can recall that sensation of your hands on your belly. And then direct your breath to where your hands were. And when the mind wanders and leaves your practice, which it will do, it's designed to do that, just bring it back to right now through this inhale and this exhale. So breath acting not only as the anchor for our present-minded meditation, but also as a chance to create more physical space within the body. Last 2 breaths here. uncross your right foot, bring it back to the ground, and lift your knees back through center. And then from there, extend one arm above your head and roll towards that side, coming through a fetal position, and then pressing ourselves up onto our hands and knees into tabletop. So even the transitions within yin are slow and soft. Working to mobilize the spine here with a little bit of movement and breath, starting with a neutral spine, reaching the crown of the head forward, feel your tailbone lengthen behind you. And then with the breath in, reach your chest forward, drop the belly, feel the low back lift, arch your back as you look up. And then exhale to round, tuck your chin, tuck your tailbone, and send your heart towards your spine. Again, inhale forward and through, reach the heart between the arms, look up and lift your throat. And then exhale to round, lifting your belly away from the ground as you arch your back. Last one, inhale. And exhale. Returning to that neutral spine on all fours. If you have blocks, you can bring them in front of you and stack them side by side, like so. From here, we're going to step the left foot to the outside of the left hand. So take any movement that you need to do that. And then with the blocks here, you can start by resting your hands on the blocks. And right away, start to feel your pelvis move forward towards the blocks. And with the back knee on the ground, you can untuck the back toes. With that knee supporting there, we can allow the hips to kind of move forward in space a little bit more. And in this lizard lunge, feel free to turn your front toes out, so your left toes out slightly. And then permission to close your eyes as you recommit to the breath. Recommit to staying with whatever arises here in the stillness. We create the physical appearance of stillness, but we know that within that stillness, there's a lot happening in the body, within the mind, within the breath. Find the breath as a tool to keep you anchored into your experience right now. Feel everything that you feel and create more space. Now, option, if you'd like a little bit more sensation and you have the room, you can bring the forearms down to the blocks. You can also bring the forearms down to the mat as well if you don't have blocks and you have the flexibility to do so. And imagine here that you could direct your breath into your legs. Feel your inner left thigh lengthen forward. Feel the hip flexors on the right side start to lengthen. Five more breaths. Relaxing the muscles of the face, keeping the throat nice and open and relaxed so breath can flow freely. Last breath here. Bring your hands back to the blocks or the mat. Very slowly and mindfully, Bring that left knee back to meet the right. And right away, let's work to transition to the other side. So right foot steps forward, nice wide lizard lunge here. Again, hands can stay on blocks here to start, an option to turn the front toes out on the diagonal. And if the toes are turned out, just make sure that that front knee isn't collapsing inward. If anything, it's still tracking towards the pinky toe side of that foot. Find the breath. Feel what you feel. And in yin, we get to be a little bit more efficient with the engagement of our muscles. So only engage what you need to engage to hold the shape. Let everything else soften and relax. And in this sense, we really utilize time and gravity to bring us into our stretches, the lengthening of our muscles. And then the mental game within that is how much can we stay with whatever sensation arises. If you'd like, you can lower down to your forearms onto the blocks or onto your mat. Feel both thighs lengthening. Feel the breath continuing to deepen, to expand, to create space where there wasn't space before. 5 more breaths. Make your way back to your hands, either on the blocks or on the ground. Gentle transition as we bring that right knee back to meet the left. From here, move one of your blocks off of your mat. And we're going to make our way into child's pose. So bring your big toes to touch as you widen your knees about mat width apart. And as you bring your sitting bones back towards your heels, option is to bring your forehead to rest on a block. And then reach the hands forward and rest your forearms and elbows down onto the earth. The block is optional, of course. If you'd rather rest the forehead on the ground or stacked hands, you can do that as well. Whatever the head is resting on, can you give a little bit more weight over into either the prop or the ground? Let the head be heavy. And then feel the effects that that has on the muscles of the neck. And feel the breath move into the back body here. Feel the decompression of the low back. Still directing our inhales all the way down to our low belly. And exhales, everything gently relaxes down. Let's take a couple more breaths here in Balasana, child's pose. Let's take an inhale through the nose. Out the mouth, exhale, let it go. Walk your hands back slightly so they're under your shoulders, and then lift yourself back up onto all fours. From here, move that block just in front of your mat, and then lower yourself. Take your time to come all the way down onto your belly. Finding half frog pose here, we're going to turn our head to the right, bending the right knee and sliding that inner knee along the ground towards our right elbow. And if you do have a block here and you'd like more sensation through the right inner thigh and groin muscles, you can place that block under your inner right knee. And then come back down to the ground with your head turned to the right, resting on the ground. And close your eyes. Allow the sensation here to be what it is, whether you feel a lot or whether maybe it doesn't feel like you feel anything at all. Can you stay with that? Can it be enough just to lay here, breathing, and allowing gravity and time to do all of the work? Feel the breath anchor you into your experience right here, right now. Find where you can create more space, be it mentally or physically here. And then imagine directing your breath to wherever you want to create space. And last 2 breaths here. And from here, start to turn your forehead back down towards the ground. Bring your forearms in slightly under you, just propping yourself up enough so that you can slide your left arm under your right, reaching it over to the right, and then with the right arm, reach it up and behind you, and coming into a reclined twist. And if you had your knee on the block, you can kind of move and adjust the block to then support the knee again. And then with that right arm, if it's here or here, just wherever it is, rest it down. Let it be heavy so that there's no activity or engagement around the shoulder or down into the arm at all. And see if you can direct the back of your right shoulder towards the ground without forcing it down. It doesn't have to touch, just that's the direction. And then maybe just let the head turn to the right as well. Again, support the rotation of your spine here with your breath. So using the movement of your breath to physically move and expand the muscles that surround your spine so that your spine has a greater range of motion as you rotate and twist. 2 more breaths. Untwist back towards your belly, so back towards that bent knee. And then bring your hands back. Reach your right leg long. Move the block in front of you for a moment as we transition to half frog on the other side. So left knee bends, sliding the inner knee up towards the left elbow as we cactus our arms. And then option again here is to use that block under that knee that's bent before resting the head down and relaxing into half frog. Right away, let the legs be heavy. Let your head be heavy. Let your spine be heavy. Keep the breath full and active, but also slow and gentle. Feel whatever space you're creating for yourself right now with your breath. And the practice of staying with whatever comes up through the stillness. Allowing the breath to always redirect our focus and our energy back to the body, back to the now. Allowing this to be enough, exactly as you are. Holding space for whatever this moment has to offer you. In this way, building resiliency of the mind, discipline of our focus, ability to stay with the things that challenge us, like stillness. Last few breaths here on this side. And then bringing the forehead back towards center. Bring your arms in just to prop up your chest and belly slightly. And then slide the right arm under the left. Reach it over to the left and then reach the left arm up and behind you, coming into a twist. And again, with that arm, just allow it to rest wherever it has fallen. And if you use the block under the knee, you can readjust that to help prop that knee up as you relax into your twist. Let the left shoulder be heavy without forcing it down to the ground. And feel how the breath articulates with the muscles of the back. Feel the rib cage, the thorax expand with your inhales, creating space. Using the exhales to invite more heaviness and weight in the spine. Maybe even feeling a gentle stretch through the outer hip as well. Let's find 3 more breaths here. Start to turn back towards your belly. Move the block in front of your mat. Extend the left leg long and just stack your hands on top of each other and rest your forehead on your stacked hands for a moment. It might feel nice to just rock the pelvis side to side. And feel the effects that this has on your low back. And then bring your hands under your shoulders, please, and press yourself up onto all fours, and then go ahead and sit down facing the long edge of your mat. Bring your feet out in front of you and keep your knees bent. Have your feet a little bit wider than hip width apart, and then let the knees drop to the left. Sit on your left bum cheek and turn your chest and your shoulders to face your left shin. So creating more or less a 90-90 shape here with the legs. We're going to start with just a little twist here. So bring both of your hands to the left, to the outside of the left thigh. Roll the left shoulder back and just twist, gazing over the left shoulder. Let's find just 2 breaths here. And untwist to come back towards the left shin. And then start to crawl your hands forward as you bring your weight forward towards your left leg. And play a little bit here with where you want to feel the sensation of the stretch and where you want to rest. So you can bring the forearms down if that's available. You can also use your block under the head. And if you'd like a little bit more stretch here, more sensation through the outer left hip, you can turn your chest to face your front foot and then crawl the hands forward on that diagonal, and then bow the head. Wherever you are, feel the effects of breath and gravity and time help to ease you into this shape. The longer we hold our asana, our postures, the more time we give our muscles to relax into the shape that we've placed them in. Which is nice because nothing is forced. We ease our way in and out of our poses. Wherever you are, imagine your left thigh widening out towards the left, getting heavier through the outer leg to create more sensation in and around that hip. 5 breaths. For this last breath, take an inhale through the nose. Grounding exhale out the mouth. Wherever you are, walk your hands back in. And then bring your hands behind you. Come back to that original position, lifting both knees through center. And let's right away, slowly, transition to the other side. So turning the knees now to the right, reorganizing the legs if you need. We're going to start with a twist. So bring your hands to the right, twist yourself to the right, bring the fingers down, and look over your right shoulder. Feel as though this twist is starting at your left knee and moving all the way through your right ear. Last breath here. And then from there, untwist back towards your right leg. And then start to crawl your hands forward, easing your way into deer pose. So either staying here in center, maybe with the hands down, just bowing to any extent, maybe using the block or the book under your forehead to support the weight of your head. Again, if you want more sensation in the stretch in the outer right hip, turn your chest and your shoulders to face your front foot. Crawl your hands out on the diagonal, and then bow the head forward. Breath by breath, we endeavor to create more space. Our physical form, our body, the cells that make up our body are more space than dense matter. So when we work to create space, whether it's mental, emotional space, or physical space, we're really coming back to more of who we really are. We are space. We are made of space. So can you embody that right now with your breath? Five more breaths. Take an inhale through the nose. Out the mouth, exhale. Walk your hands back. Sit yourself up. Bring your hands behind you as you come back to that original position with the knees bent in front of you. Bring your feet together and then wrap your arms under your thighs and give yourself a hug as you tuck your chin. Lift your head. For our final pose, I'm going to offer legs up the wall. It looks exactly as it sounds. And the best way I find to get into it is to sit up next to the wall as close as you can so that one side of your bum is flush with the wall. And then from there, we lay down as we swing our legs up. And then I like to open my arms like a T here on the ground, taking up space with the arms in the upper back. It can also be nice to put a little pillow under your low back here if that feels nice as just a little bit of support. But the thing to remember too is that you don't need to jam the knees. The knees don't need to be perfectly straight. They can be as soft or as straight as feels comfortable for you. Close the eyes. And tune into sensation here. Let yourself feel everything that you feel. Maybe see if you can feel the reversal of blood flow in the legs. Feel that blood draining downward towards the pelvis. Helping to also drain the lactic acid from our muscles, which helps to repair and recover the muscles after we've been using them. Feel the widening of the low back into the earth. Really let the wall take the weight of your feet and your heels so that we can be more efficient with stabilizing the legs in this position. Let the wall, let gravity, and let time take over the majority of the work here so that your body can rest and create more space. Start to release any control that you have over the breath. And as you allow your body to be breathed by your natural, spontaneous breath, can you feel yourself becoming space? As you continue to rest, can you slow down the energy behind your eyes? And without any effort whatsoever, just start to listen for the whisper of your breath. A breath that has breathed life into you since the beginning of your life, and that has been with you every step along the way. Start to engage with that breath more. Take an inhale through the nose. Exhale out the mouth. Do that again. Inhale. Let something go as you exhale. Bend your knees, sliding your heels down the wall. Bring the soles of your feet onto the wall and just pause here with your thigh bones in towards your belly. Feel that gentle stretch through the low back. And from there, roll yourself over to one side and very gently press yourself up into a seated position where we will close our practice together. Closing the eyes one last time. And feel everything that you feel. And draw your hands together in front of your beautiful heart. May we go forward to endeavor to create more space for ourselves. Space in mind and space in body. An acknowledgement of the effort that it takes to show up for yourself here on the mat. Offer yourself a deep bow of gratitude. Namaste.